Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have another audiobook, and it's my newest murder mystery that I've been working on. It's all PG, don't worry. It may have a little bit of mushy love stuff in it, but that's for the next chapter. So I hope you enjoy chapter 1 of Repetition for Murder. The gravedigger emerged from the graveyard. She was carrying a body. Imagine that. She had a corpse which she had to get rid of. Her instructions, given by her boss, were to simply dig up a grave, take the bones, and dispose them. Take the corpse that her boss killed and put that body in a casket. The gravedigger continued her work. She heard an odd thump of a body hitting the ground. "Hello? Is there someone out there?" Robin the gravedigger shouted. There wasn't a sound coming from anywhere. Robin began to grow very nervous. She knew she would go and investigate. She shuffled across the grass. The warm Sydney air blew in the distance. Robin searched and found a body lying on the green grass. A strike of shock ran through her. "Ah!" she screamed. She fainted and laid next to the corpse. The next morning, the telephone rang at the police station. The inspector scrambled to get the phone. "Hello, this is Detective Inspector Scott from the Sydney East Police Station. What is the problem?" the inspector asked. "I just found a dead body and a girl who fainted. She has a pulse," stated a lady. Please stay calm and tell me where the graveyard is." "It's located in Sydney, Australia," she responded back. "Clearly, dear," he laughed. They were clearly in Sydney, Australia, not China. "Where in Sydney?" the inspector asked, trying not to laugh again. "Tragedy Grove," she responded. "Okay, thank you. Good day," he said as he hung up the phone. "Gwen!" George shouted. "Yes?" asked Detective Gwen Williams. "There was a body found along with a girl who fainted in Tragedy Grove," spoke the inspector. "Oh, that's horrid. We must go now," exclaimed Gwen. Gwen and George just about flew out the door when Constable Hughes waltzed out of his office. "Where are you going, Inspector?" asked Constable Henry Hughes. "We are going to a crime scene," Detective Gwen exclaimed. "You must stay here," George said. Gwen and George pranced out of the station. They flew into the inspector's motor car. "Oh, I hope you figure it out," exclaimed Henry. Henry was desperate. He really wanted the chance to go on a case with the inspector only. He was bloody jealous of that Detective Gwen. He couldn't believe that they would just leave him to run the station without even asking if he wanted to go on the case. When the detective and the inspector arrived at Tragedy Grove, they hopped out of the motor car. They rushed to the crime scene and saw two lasses sitting on a tombstone. "Lasses, please explain what happened slowly so that Detective Gwen and I can note it," George said. "What happened was, I found this girl. She was lying right next to this corpse right here. I assumed she'd fainted, so I gave her some water," explained the lass. "Could you please tell us your name?" "My name is Nellie Brown." "Okay, Nellie, you're going to need to come with us to the station for some further questioning. Same goes for you, miss," he said. "Why do I need to be questioned?" asked Robin innocently. "Because you were next to the victim," Gwen explained. "I'll secure the area, George," Gwen exclaimed. Gwen secured the crime scene, and all four of the lads headed back to the police station. Robin knew she couldn't tell them what she was doing in the graveyard, or whom the body was. They arrived back at the station, and Constable Hughes told them where to go for questioning. Nellie and the lass headed into the interrogation room. Gwen sat on the desk and crossed her legs. Inspector Scott entered the room. "Ladies, please take a seat. This will take like a fortnight," said George. "Oh, George, you're such an exaggerator," Gwen spoke as she batted her eyelashes at the inspector. The inspector smiled back at Gwen. Gwen felt all warm and fuzzy inside. She smiled back at the inspector. Gwen was wearing a long silk dress with her badge on her chest. She glared her baby blue eyes at the ladies. She was determined to get information out of them. "Robin, will you please explain to the inspector and I what the bloody heck you are doing in Tragedy Grove?" Gwen spoke harshly. "Well, I was, checking. Yes, I was checking on tombstones to make sure they weren't vandalized," Robin lied. Gwen didn't buy what Robin said for a second. "I don't buy it," whispered Gwen to the inspector. "Nellie, you may go home. Just make sure you don't leave the country," said the inspector. The lasses that were in for questioning left the station. George turned to Gwen. "I am also not very convinced either. Let's think of possible suspects," George said. As George and Gwen started thinking of possible suspects, Mason, the vexatious inmate, started screaming. "G'day, mates!" Mason said as he laughed at absolutely nothing. "Ugh, I'm going to wring his scrawny neck," Gwen shouted jokingly. "I sure hope you aren't." The inspector laughed with Gwen. "Oh no, I'm gonna be late for my mate's Bobby!" Mason yelled with rage as he slapped his leg. "Ow! Can he just shut his little fly trap over there? I would actually like to get some work done," Gwen exclaimed. "Only if you let me out," exclaimed the imbecile. "No!" they both exclaimed to Mason. "We will just have to leave then." "Constable, we are leaving. Watch that foolish lad," exclaimed Gwen. The constable strolled over to Mason. He handed him some crisps. "Thanks, mate," exclaimed Mason. "I'm not your mate," Henry snapped back at Mason. The two lovebirds waltzed out the door once again. "So long, mates." "Good day," Gwen said. The detective and the inspector went out to a nearby tea room to discuss the suspects. Gwen made herself comfortable on the chair across from the inspector. He scratched his head and crossed his legs. "Let's get started," George said impatiently. "First of all, you know that I think Robin is not telling us everything she knows. We must do further investigation on Robin. Hopefully, we will get some sort of lead," Gwen hoped. They drank their tea, finished their conversation, and headed home for the day. Robin was pacing around her house. She had hoped for a telephone call explaining why there was a fresh corpse laying on the green grass of the graveyard. Just then, she heard the telephone ring. Finally! She answered the telephone in hopes of finding an explanation for last night. "Hello?" she asked. "Sorry guys, that is the end of chapter 1. Stay tuned for chapter 2 of Repetition for Murder. Comment down below if you enjoyed this this audiobook. Sorry, my accent is really bad. Don't judge. I'm American, not Australian. I'm trying my best. Anyways, thank you so much. Bye.